Hey, welcome to Picture This Film Reviews, episode number 87. My name is Matt, and with me are...
Dan and
Cayla.
Hey, welcome back, Cayla. It's been a minute since you've been here. How is everyone?
Fantastic. Riding the wave.
Riding the wave we call life.
Yes, indeed.
Dan, how are
in a
you?
little bit.
I can't.
I'm doing okay. We're trying to get the seating situation squared away here, but overall really good. Really excited to be back to talk about another movie as half my head disappears through the background. Hold on, let me do this. We should be able to be okay.
We're experiencing technical difficulties.
Oh gosh, your face was.
Oh,
And now we're back. How about that?
Ooh.
okay. So today we are here to talk about Drop, the Christopher Landon film that was released a little bit earlier this year, a few months ago. It is. Should we just? I'm just gonna read a synopsis and then we'll jump right into initial thoughts.
Yeah, just do it.
We're not gonna waste any time. So Drop. Violet, a widowed mother on her first date in years, arrives at an upscale restaurant where she is relieved that her date, Henry, is more charming and handsome than she expected. But their chemistry begins to curdle as Violet begins being irritated and then terrorized by a series of anonymous drops to her phone.
Bum bum bum.
Dun dun dun. I'm gonna throw it to you guys for first initial thoughts. What do we think of Drop just right off the bat?
I'll defer to Cayla so she can get a word in.
Okay. I wanted to sit in on this episode just to kind of, I don't know. So going into this movie, I really thought, I don't really know. I didn't think it was going to be about dropping something to a phone. I thought it was like drop, like they had a bag or something, like it was going to be like some kind of like delivery or something they had to make to save someone or something like that. So like going into this, and then they started dropping the messages and the photos, and I was like, oh, okay, we're going in that direction. So I just wanted to say that it is quite possibly one of the dumbest things I've ever watched. I just really could not get down with the girl, the protagonist. She was very annoying. And like the whole sequence, are we doing spoilers or not? Or yes?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we no longer.
So it was just, it made no sense, because if there's a killer in your house and he's gonna kill your kid, just kill the kid. But then there was a very funny part where they're in the house. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna ramble. Where they're in the house and the killer just straight up has the kid in like kind of like this weird chokehold kind of thing. That was probably the funniest part of the movie. But anyway, it was dumb. It was really dumb. I don't know what I rated it on Letterboxd. I probably gave it maybe 1 star, but now thinking about it, I probably should have gave it like half a star.
Wow.
Yeah, so a lot to
put
unpack
that
there for initial thoughts for sure. Well, I appreciate you starting us off with that. Overall, I thought the premise was actually pretty nifty. I know we've had movies in the past where there's text messaging or there's phone calls, so dropping is kind of like a newer age way to go. And honestly, especially with the memes kicking it off, it feels more culture appropriate and more in this time, I guess, than kind of some of the older movies. Now, in line with Cayla's thoughts a bit, wasn't necessarily a huge fan of this film, but I do give it some creative points just because I think that the story was, it tried to be there, but maybe didn't necessarily land the way that I would have hoped for. So that's where I'm going to end my initial thoughts. Matt, how about you, sir? As I hide behind the mic.
I went and saw this with my mother, who was interested in seeing it because of the lead actor who plays the boyfriend, Brandon. I'm gonna say this wrong, Sklener. He has been in some other things that she has seen. He's been in like one other thing that I've seen. But she wanted to go, so we went, and I had seen the advertisements, I'd seen the trailer, and so I knew that it was a text message drop thing, so I knew kind of what I was getting into. But it's kind of like you guys. I felt like the ball was, well, the ball was dropped.
But
I didn't even mean to do that, but I do feel like the execution was poor. Um, Even in the theater, I found myself going or thinking to myself, "Wow, like I wish they would have done this better." Because there's an idea there. There's an idea there that works, and I think they were at times they were right on the you know right there, but then no, they never fully got there. And I just initially, again, without getting too deep, I think I think they dropped the ball that time, pun intended. Um, so yeah, Dan, um, any what was your what would you say was the moment that lost you in the movie?
if I were on a date, a blind date with someone I've never met before, and I started receiving the messages that first off, they didn't seem very threatening, and then the realization that someone's in the home with your kid, specifically the video. Like at that point, I don't care about the whole you tell anybody and they're gonna die, da 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 da. Like some way, somehow, some shape, some form, I'm getting out there and I'm gonna do business. Like it's just I feel like it started losing its realism. There were parts where she tries to be sneaky, she tries to get out, goes to the bathroom, tries to put messages, and it's just very odd to me that the character that was watching her this whole time wasn't necessarily in the bathroom with her. But I know that like, it was like a listening device. Maybe there
Yeah.
was a camera too, but I didn't see a camera. It was just very interesting to me. Like, how is he monitoring all of that while he is on that other date? Like, he must have been completely not talking to her the whole time. I know she gets up, like, she calls him a name or says he's rude or something to that effect and like gets up and leaves. But I'm like, what the heck? And then after that, it just kind of fell apart for me. It drug on so long. And I'm like thinking about your lead male character that if I was on this date, man, I would have hit the door like way, way before, we got to the end of this movie. So but yes, sir. How about you, Kay? And then I guess we'll round it back to Matt.
I think, like you said, it just a lot of those things that they try to add in there were just not realistic. Like the $20 bill part where she wrote the stuff on there, and then that guy calls or texts that other guy, and then he poisons him. Just like happening in real time, that would not work that way. And it's just like, I get it's a movie, but it's just unrealistic. Like it just adds to how stupid some of these things that they thought they could get away with in this film. Yeah, it was hilarious.
I mean, that is a good point. That guy literally got on an elevator, went to the lobby, and we presume dies. Like if you're leaving a restaurant and immediately die, you think someone would go check that restaurant out and be like, what the heck just happened to this dude? Did he eat something that killed him?
This guy came in here, he plotted, and then he put all of these listening devices everywhere. He had poison on him, he had a gun on him, he had numerous different things. It just like I don't know. It just, for me, like, and then you see this guy and it's like, oh, this is our villain here. And then he tries to be this like cheesy, like, you're going to listen to what I'm going to say.
He orchestrated the whole blind date from the very beginning. And it's very strange, like how he got all of her information. I get it, like the age of technology and hacking, all this, just for a government cover up for stealing funds. I'm just going to put it out there. I mean, like maybe I shouldn't say that. People steal money all the time, and I'm sure some of them do kill to protect that secret. But I don't know. It just seemed a little over the top to be wanting to kill a kid and everybody else involved. Like, okay,
it was all for the drama. Yeah.
Yeah, it did seem like a lot for very little purpose. Like I feel like the reveal of who was behind it was a letdown, and the reasoning was a letdown, and it just, I mean, I was with it despite me thinking fairly early on, like, oh, this isn't that great. But like I wanted to enjoy it. I wanted to be there in the moment. I'd go into these things trying to have fun with it, looking at the best that I can of everything. And especially not to side rail or self promote, but especially having made a movie, I try not to quote unquote crap on other people's art because that they did the thing, they made the movie, good for them. So I try to look at it through that lens a lot more these days. But I mean, there were parts I had fun with this, but overall it was more of a letdown than it was a success. And yeah, I think the part where it lost me was really the end. Like if they had stuck the landing and done something different, I don't know what that looks like, but if they had done something different with the ending, I feel like I might have liked this a little better.
It was kind of strange or crazy that the whole thing was covert up to the very end when he thinks that he's poisoned. And at that point, it's gloves off. We're going to just start shooting everybody in the right. Like, how do we not think that was, I don't know, was it more of just like a dying man's way to cap off what was happening? The fact that the sister survived was
Yeah.
another thing. I thought that, you know what? I hate to say it, but just kill her off, just be done with it. Make it a little bit more like like gripping. We just didn't do that. I don't necessarily like seeing kids, take one for the team in these kind of movies. Really don't. So glad he survived, but at the end too, I thought that was kind of cheesy that he puts the gun on the car and drives the remote control vehicle over to his mother. Just that seemed like a complete waste of time
Well,
and
it was
effort.
a callback to the beginning because he was playing with the remote in the beginning, right?
I'm sure he was, and I probably just forgot that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But what they say, if they show you a gun, if they show you something in a movie, it's for a reason. I guess that sticks. But yeah, yes, you.
Yeah, the ending really just like solidified how like my disgust towards it, because you have I don't even remember what the Violet. You have Violet at the end, and she's sitting in the hospital room with the dude, and she was like saying something and something about getting shot or something, and then literally the sister walks out, and we're like, yeah, literally the sister was shot 6 times. She got her head busted.
Yeah.
You saw her thrown across a wall. And you're just trying to have breakfast with this dude. Like, didn't even give her any breakfast.
I know. She literally saved her kid's life, and it's just like,
Yeah.
you just stay in that other room. Like,
Yeah.
forget about you.
No breakfast. That was my biggest thing. I was like, you couldn't even think of her.
Kale's offended as because she has a sister. I think that's what the issue is.
Right. The sister did both. She did the thing.
I know she hung in there. Gotta give her credit.
Yeah. Well, let's not beat around the bush. Just let's bring it to the head here, and let's rank this thing. We do out of 5 stars, 5 being the best. I guess half a star being the worst. Cayla, where are you at with this?
I'm pretty sure on Letterboxd I gave it a star because I didn't realize at the time that you could give it a half a star. So I'm gonna keep it at a star just to because I like what you said, that you got to think about the directors, that they had a vision, and really art is subjective. So there was something behind that the director, really liked to put this forward. So I'll give it a star.
Okay.
1 star.
Dan?
Overall, again, like I said at the top of the episode, I feel that there was definitely a vision here. I don't think that necessarily the script writing was awful. I could see the direction they're going. I think it was a more original idea, so I'm going to give it a little higher than half a star. I am going to go 2.5 stars on this. And the reason being, I think I gave Final Destination 2. So I actually did enjoy the story on this
You
better.
enjoyed this more than Final Destination?
Really?
Yes, I personally enjoyed this more than Final Destination. Yes.
Yeah.
Something is wrong.
Yeah, seriously. I would put this at the bottom of probably what I've watched this year.
I wouldn't say it's a standout in any way, shape, or form. Please keep that in mind. It just like for me, overall, it held me more and was more interesting, stimulating to me than Final Destination. Sorry, not sorry.
Wow.
Speaking of kids taking one for the team, Final Destination, we didn't talk about in our review. Do we agree that the kid in the beginning needed to die?
Yeah, the one
It was
that
a very satisfying death with the piano crushed
They
him.
were gonna do it.
Well,
I didn't think they were gonna do it.
The thing is, he didn't though.
Well,
Okay.
he did.
Probably died in some
Eventually,
way.
eventually he did.
Maybe a piano killed him later on. Maybe like he got like the lid closed on him or something like that.
It is pretty funny that the piano landed on him and the whole thing about you throw that penny off, you can kill somebody. Like that is karma, and yeah, well deserved because he could have. It would have been neat if they could have done a cutaway just to show you like him as an adult, like as a really miserable person, and then just like shown his end anyway, or that would have been a nice tie-in.
Well, anyway, we're not here to talk about Final Destination. We're talking about Drop, and I think initially gave this 3 stars, but I am going to, for this purpose, give it 2.5. It's not one that I intend on revisiting, maybe ever. If I do, maybe in a year or two down the line, just be like, oh yeah, let's check this out again. But not nothing that's going to stick with me very long. It's one that actually I've forgotten more about already, just in the short time that it's been out. So it's nothing that really is going to stick with me long term. Just mention real quick, we talked about the director Christopher Landon. Other films he made, just to take note here, were Freaky, the Vince Vaughn movie. Both
Which is
happy,
way better.
both Happy Death Day films.
Better.
The Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
Better.
And Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, which is probably one of the worst Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
That one was really bad.
But those are some of the films he's made. So
wow.
I don't know where we would put this on those films, but I think we all probably agree more towards the bottom of the list. That concludes Picture This for Drop. Thank you so much to Cayla for coming and stopping by. You're welcome anytime. We hope to have you again. Guys, well, you know what? I'll let Dan say it this time. Dan, if they want to follow us, where can they find us?
They can find us on Instagram. It's the Picture This, and you'll have to correct me on the tail end of it. What's the full handle on that, Matt?
Just at Picture This Reviews.
At Picture This Reviews, not at Picture This Film Reviews. We also have the YouTube channel here. Matt, do you also put this as a podcast?
I don't. That's something that I thought about doing at one point in time. But no, right now it's video only for YouTube.
Gotcha. And honestly, guys, one of the reasons that we do this is so we can find other folks kind of like us, and everybody's special and individual and unique, but folks that like watching movies, talking about movies. So if you would like to, please leave us a comment, subscribe. I know it's a little self-serving when we say this kind of stuff here, but we really do want to grow the community so we can interact with you. Ask us questions. Tell us how you felt about the movies we reviewed. Tell us about movies you want us to talk about in the future, to watch. And I mean, above all, you know what? We really enjoy your time and company. So come and watch a movie with us, and let's talk about some films. So, Mr. Matt, I'm gonna give it to you to wrap it up.
Everyone have a great week and love one another.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.